Welcome to Back to the Drawing Board with Scott Lucas and Howie Feltersnatch. How you doing, Howie? Looks like Howie's got his hands full. We'll get back with him later. Today's video is electric shop furnace, insulators and furnace walls. We had to start somewhere. Here we go. This stuff here is quarterite. It's called quarterite. It's kiln shelving for ceramics. I was lucky enough to pick up a bunch of it from an old potter down the road here. Now I'm going to make my insulators out of these. Yeah, we're going to have to cut 1.5 by 2 inch blocks. Now I'm going to save you the pain, all of that, and then I'll come back out and I'll show you what else we got to do after we get the drilling done. Just standard masonry bit. Keep it wet. You get the picture. And then we do this 6 holes and 6 pieces. So that's like 36. So I'm gonna spare you. Spare you the pain of listening to that old drill press and do them off camera. Alright, so these are the, I don't know, hole saws I got off of eBay or something. They're, I don't know, I think I paid $5 for the 2 of them. They work pretty good, except they don't have a center bit in them, which is problematic. This part, which is to hollow this out a bit, well, you'll see at the end here, but now I've made 6 others of these with this same bit, with this same hole saw, and it seems that they're holding up pretty good. Some kind of diamond coated thing. In any event, that's that part. Alright, we got our holes all drilled. So now I'm going to pass these through here at the 4 different heights and just get a shoulder here. So this will just be the insulator that goes inside the oven, inside the kiln. I got these soaking in water. They do soak up water pretty good. So I'll do that and then I'll be back. We did all the passes through and we come up with that. Now sometimes they don't, there it goes. So now we got 6, there we go. 6 of these that are going to make 2, 4, 6. 6 of these that are going to make our insulators for the kiln. These, all this little shag right here, this stuff cleans up real good with a file, with a double cut file. Pretty easy. All right, well here they're done. This end here, that'll go into the kiln. These are mounting holes. This is a terminal, a stainless steel terminal set in the back. Now, before I do that, I'll cover that over with either that epoxy or some silicone one. The, let's see, yeah, there we go. The coil element comes through here, gets onto the stud where I can then hook line voltage to it with a couple of mounting bolts to mount it to the side, mounting screws to mount it to the side. That's pretty much it. Made out of quarterite. A couple hours to make them. It was a pretty cool project. I liked it. A couple hours my foot. What you just watched was the second run at making these insulators. The first run failed due to old dull drill bits and a design flaw. The corners kept breaking off at the mounting holes. To get 6 viable insulators took like 4 or 5 hours. These are pictures of the first run. This is going to be my UL listed water pump for cutting these bricks. This is NEMA approved wet location enclosure. And this is all UL listed. Well, okay, the tape is UL listed. Okay, this is corduroy kiln shelving for pottery kiln. I got this from an old potter down the road. My job for this is to cut these things into 6-inch by 12-inch pieces. So I've made myself a good old wet saw along with my pump. Hold on and I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, so that's the pump, that's the supply, that's the wet saw. Well, it's my table saw, but I couldn't even find a wet saw to rent around this part of the country, so here we go. Action! Here goes nothing. Okay, well, I think you get the idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a mess here. Boy, that blade just about gets through there. I'm gonna go ahead and make a mess, and then I'll check back with you after this might take a while. All right, well, since I talked to you last, I had to remake my hose clamp. And see the little pair of vice grips over there, that's my restrictor. Now the hose is going up underneath and wetting that blade from underneath. This makes a little bit more sense. So here we go. I knew this was going to be a mess, but I didn't think it would be this big a mess. Robinson. Get in there. Stay in there. We worked just fine a little while ago. Up. Back to the drawing board. Okay, here we go. That's number 5. And 2.5 gallons of water. All right. All right. Well, I came up with 10 of those rascals. I only need 8 for the project, but I'll go ahead and use 2 of them for setup or screw up or hook up or whatever. Yeah, so that was a success. And I haven't tore up this cheap Craftsman table saw yet. Well, that's okay. I've got a lot more to cut on these things before they come in. So maybe I could tear this thing up before that's all over with and the old lady gets home. After a series of fairly cheesy sleds that I built for the table saw, I finally came up with 8 decent bricks. I got the bevels cut on them. Put them all together, they're going to make an octagon, if that's not obvious. These grooves are all cut, so that they're going to give a place for the heater elements to rest. I don't think they'll actually hold them in there, but give them a downward slope. Ready to fire it up. And like I said, fairly cheesy sleds. This one is, well, it's cheesy. This one was even cheesier. Now this is the cross-cut gauge that came with this Craftsman table saw. Can anybody clue me in on what Craftsman was thinking? I mean, this thing, fairly cheesy. Come on, yeah. There, that one's nice and tight. This thing, what were they thinking? I mean, I know I won't buy this saw to build a piano, but come on. I don't know. Anybody know how to say Craftsman in Chinese? Just write it in the comments there. I'd love to know. Well, here we are at the burn barrel. That old barrel there, or that old pipe pup, I made into a wood burning furnace at one point. So over here is the quarterite lid from it. I'm gonna excavate those along with another piece over here. I'm not sure exactly what this piece is, but I'm gonna find out quick. To try to, it might be worth it. Oh, look at that, this stuff's everywhere. Alright, well, that wasn't as much as I thought. I gotta make a bottom for the furnace and a lid. So I'm gathering pieces and parts. I'll get these back up to the shop and we'll see what's what. By the way, the wood burning kiln furnace, boy, you want to talk about it takes forever and loads and loads and loads of wood. It wasn't worth it. So I turned the pipe into a burn barrel. Huh. All right, after a considerable amount of messing around, finally got the vent hole cut, and I'm going to use biscuit joints to hold this together, along with the stove and fireplace cement. So once that's all glued up, then I'm going to go ahead and finish the hole, make a plug, get a band around the outside of it. I don't want to do that part. Me invent wheel. Alright, got the lid done. Metal band. Rivets, pins. Pinned strategically so that it's going to support the seam. These will carry a rod that holds the lid to a bar. You'll see. Other than that, it worked out pretty good. Next is to get the hinge pin on. Hinge will go on this side. This is the front. A couple more rivets there. Well, rivets, pins to stabilize it. We'll see what happens when it starts heating up, cooling off, expansion, contraction, metal and rock, who knows, but we'll see. Well, since I got the top cut, went and I cleaned up this mess. This is all of the aftermath of cutting all of that kiln shelving. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but we'll see. Depends on how you look at it.